his party.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. I know the members opposite are very anxious to make sure I get up and speak. So, Mr. Speaker, my question relates to research firm Collision Science says two of the most common factors to vehicle accidents are speed and alcohol. Weather also plays a role. However, Mr. Speaker, 97% of accidents are the results of driver error. And, Mr. Speaker, only 2.7% of all collisions are due to vehicle failure. An Alberta Traffic Collision Statistics study shows that vehicle inspections have little to no bearing on vehicle collisions. In fact, Mr. Speaker, in Alberta, where annual inspections are not required, less than 1% of accidents are attributed to vehicle failure. So, Mr. Speaker, based on hard data, it's an absolute myth that inspection stickers keep roads and people safe. With that myth busted, will the Premier commit to reducing or eliminating vehicle safety inspections, which will save New Brunswickers both time and money?
The Minister of Public Safety.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. And yes, highway safety is one of the hot topics, I guess, in my department right now. What I will commit to is a complete review of the policy we have around our inspections on all vehicles, whether it be trailers, vehicles, or otherwise. I have been in Alberta, as you know, and meeting with their highway safety, and I am meeting with other jurisdictions as far as how they best practices in their provinces. I definitely feel there is some merit to the members' concern. Just because this is the way we've always done it, I'm not convinced that that's the way we should continue to do it. But until the assessments have been made, and after tomorrow when we get out and I get back into my office to do the work, it certainly will be reviewed.
The member for Fredericton Grand Lake and leader of his party.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker, and I appreciate the response from the minister. However, you know, when we talk about reviews and studies from those in government, I often have a red flag raised because that often goes in a great warehouse of government studies to collect dust. So what I would like to see is the bill that we've put forward, which would put more money in New Brunswickers' pockets, stop a lot of the red tape and the unnecessary movements of vehicle registrations, and a sticker on the front windshield which does nothing in terms of the data that shows in terms of vehicle safety. So again, I'll ask, will the Premier and the caucus support the bill that I presented and allow New Brunswickers to keep more money in their pocket instead of spending it on needless government red tape?
The Honourable the Premier.
Thank you for the question. And Mr. Speaker, I don't disagree. I think if we look at the stats and we find that there's opportunity to make changes to save taxpayer dollars, I'm all for that. And so I'd be very, very keen to look at that information, look at any information that's available. You know, talk to authorities, but put a timeline on it, Mr. Speaker, because I sympathize with the fact that we have studies and committees and task force, and we do a lot of that. And we find one reason or another not to get the job done. Well, Mr. Speaker, I want to assure my colleague, the leader of the Alliance Party, that we are indeed want to get the job done. So this is one more issue to look at, and we can put a timeline to analyze it, a very short timeline, and then make a decision together to move forward. Thank you, Mr. Speaker.
The member for Moncton South.